Hello everybody and welcome to Tiger Tells The Lost Stories, a place where you'll find stories and fanfictions written and read to you by your host, me, Tiger. Today we're diving back into the Color Matrix. The Color Matrix is a storyline where Ace uses a fantastic device called the Color Matrix, which allows him to venture forth throughout the multiverse by allowing him to place his consciousness into alternate versions of himself. Think of James Cameron's Avatar or Sword Art Online. Similar concept, just on a multiversal level. This allows me to write different chapters revolving around all different fandoms and different fictions. It's fantastic. In the last one, we dived into the worlds of DC, and Ace was a part of the Suicide Squad. This time round, we're diving into Marvel, and it turns out that Ace is part of the Young Avengers. So let's dive in. The Color Matrix, World 13. The son of Iron Man, the saviour of Steve Rodgers. I was intrigued with the universe I dived into the day before, where I was a member of the rogue team of controlled supervillains known as the Suicide Squad. I found more universes in the same aspect. I found one that piqued my interest.
Sir, in this universe, you are an Avenger, a hero working under your father, Tony Stark. You lead the team of New Avengers.
Daisy told me. Sounds good, I replied. I then loaded the powerful universe into the Matrix and walked over to the bed. I laid on the bed after taking off my shirt. The needles entered my back of my neck and my fingertips, and I drifted off into the darkness. I woke up to my phone ringing. I stubbed around and grabbed it. I answered it sluggishly. Yeah, I mumbled. Dude, get up. Your dad has been hounding us. Come on, we gotta go, TJ told me. Ah, shit. Yeah, I'm up. Meet me at the tower, I told him. Then I hung up the phone. I stood up and threw on some clothes. Then I grabbed my nano suit. It was in its sleep state, which was just a triangular little disc. I placed it on my chest and tapped it twice. Then the nanobots wrapped around my entire body, forming into my Iron Man suit. Iron Ace online, my suit's built-in AI told me. My suit was slim and a dark, stormy grey colour. It was very sleek and slimlined, thinner than your average Iron Man suit, and it had the ability to manipulate nanites, allowing me to activate all different types of weaponry, which was hidden to every other person. I jumped out of the window and the thrusters activated and I flew off. I headed to the Avengers Tower. I landed on the balcony, and as I looked up, I saw TJ in his Falcon gear. TJ was the son of the Falcon and my best friend. So he soared through the air and landed next to me, his metallic wings folding inward and folding into the backpack piece of the suit. Yo man, what's up? TJ said to me. Sup man, come on, I replied. My helmet dissolved off my face as the nanites retracted, and we both walked into the room. We walked up to a big screen, the screen lit up, and my father, Tony Stark, also known as the famous Iron Man, appeared on screen. Dad, what's going on? I asked. Listen, we're still helping Asgard, but Steve should have joined us a couple days ago. Communications have been mute now, so I can't get hold of him. You need to find out what's been going on, my dad said. Alright Dad, no worries, we can do that, I replied. We just got word that Miles is heading to his apartment. You can meet him there, my dad ordered. Yes sir, me and TJ both replied. Hey kid, be careful and I love you, my dad told me. Love you too, I nodded. The screen went black. Me and TJ looked at each other, nodded, then both ran out of the room and back to the balcony. We jumped off the ledge, my helmet reforming over my head and face, and my thrusters activated as I took flight. At the same time, TJ's wings extended from his backpack, and he also took flight. We both flew off and followed the indication on my hub. We followed it until we reached a massive apartment block. As they grew closer towards us, we saw the second Spider-Man, Miles Morales, fighting off a couple of goons with laser blades on the roof of Steve Rogers' apartment building. We should help him out, TJ told me. Agreed, I nodded. We landed on the roof. I aimed one of my palms and fired a repulsor beam, which hit one of the goons. Miles turned to us. Hey fellas, thanks for joining, he said. Then he jumped over one of the goons. As he landed on the ground, he kicked the goon in the back. What's up, Miles? I muttered. Then I got the nanobots to form around my hand and form into a big cannon. I aimed it and fired a sonic blast which knocked one of the goons off their feet. Falcon took flight and flew at one of the last goons. He spun around and double-kicked the guy in the chest and face, knocking him out. Where did these guys even come from? I asked as my nanite sonic cannon retracted back. I found these guys climbing out of Steve's apartment, Miles told me. Okay, this is officially now bad news, TJ stated. Yeah, Steve should have headed to Asgard a couple days ago, and his communications off. Now what do we do? I asked. Miles knelt down and searched one of the goons. He pulled out a set of keys that had a tag on it. The tag had an address on it. He stood up and handed me the keys. I looked at the address and my scanner scanned it, and I held out my hand and a holographic map projected out of my palm for everyone to see. And on the map, there was a red blinking dot on the harbour. Looks like a warehouse on the harbour, I told the other two. Come on, let's go investigate it, TJ said. I agree with him, Miles agreed. Alright guys, let's go, I told them. Me and TJ both took flight once again. Miles shot a web which attached itself to TJ's wing pack, and he was pulled into the air. We both headed to the harbour, with Miles floating behind us, being pulled through the air. Quickly, we found the warehouse. We saw some guy climb onto the roof. He aimed a rocket launcher and fired a rocket at us. It came towards us at hurling speeds. I aimed my fist, and my wrist opened up with a circular ring that extended out and shot a bunch of small rockets. My barrage of mini rockets collided with the oncoming missile. There was an explosion. I flew right through it and landed on the roof, and with a heavy swing I punched the guy off the roof as he flew. TJ and Miles landed on the roof next to me. Miles shot a web and pulled the latch off its hinges, and we jumped down into the warehouse and was met with a room full of goons. The whole room was filled with them. Alright boys, let's dance, I cheered. The goons came running at us. Bullets flew at us. TJ jumped forward and spun around, slamming his metallic wings into some of the goons like a big drill. Miles charged his bioelectricity into his palm, then released it, and it shot several of the goons. The nanites in my suit formed around my hands and formed into a big energy-bladed axe, and the other hand formed into a triple-barrel revolving Gatling gun. I ran at one of the goons. I swung my axe and sliced down a goon who was in mid-swing with a metal baseball bat. When I aimed my gun, I then fired several rounds, mowing down several more of the goons. One of the goons swung a tomahawk at me. I blocked it with my gun, then I swung my axe and sliced him down as well. Us three heroes dealt with the room full of goons rather quickly. There was one left. We were about to attack when suddenly something bounced off the goon's head, rendering him unconscious. The object bounced around the room and then was caught by Steve Rodgers. Captain America himself caught his shield. Then he looked at us three heroes. My weapons and helmet retracted as I ran up to Captain America. Uncle Steve, you're okay, I blurted. Yeah, kid, course I am, Captain America replied with a grin. TJ and Miles walked up to us. Hey, Cap, TJ nodded. Falcon, Captain America replied. Can we please get out of here now? Miles sighed. Sure, kids, let's go, Captain America said. We all walked out of the warehouse. As we were walking, my indicator hub activated, which formed my helmet around my face once again, telling me that I got a call from Dad. I answered it and Dad came to view on my holoscreen. Kid, have you found Rodgers? Dad barked. I could hear some explosions in the background. Yeah, Dad, we got him, I told him. No, you don't. That's not Rodgers, Dad barked. Then suddenly, before I could reply, the call got cut off. I retracted my helmet. I turned around to see Miles and TJ on the floor unconscious. I turned around and saw Captain America swing his shield at me, smacking me in the head. I was thrown back. I flew and crashed into the wall of the warehouse. My vision became rather blurry. I saw Captain America, or whoever this was meant to be, run at me with full force. Then everything went dark. I woke up and sat up with quick haste. Man, I'm finding it hard to snap out of these sometimes, I sighed.
You do seem to have an emotional connection to your multiversal counterpart, sir.
Yeah, I guess. Like, how do I deal with the fact that sometimes I witness myself in crisis? Complete heartache. Pain like you'd never know. Or hell, I've even watched myself die, I replied.
It's all part of the job,
Daisy stated. But with my mystery powers, I could help each one of them out. I could solve all their issues, I muttered, with a shimmer of my mystery energy sparking between my fingertips.
Sir, I would highly advise against that,
Daisy told me. Oh no, I sighed, I climbed off the bed and wrote in my daily log. Then I sat there and pondered what would happen if I truly helped all the versions of myself. If you've enjoyed listening to Ace traverse through the multiverse using the colour matrix and exploring the alternate versions of himself throughout multiple different fictions and fandoms written by me, and you're sat there thinking to yourself, hey, it'd be cool if he entered a video game, then please check out Tiger Tail's Game Over, where you'll find more fanfictions and stories all revolving around video games, again, written and told to you by me. Specifically on there, you'll find another Colour Matrix story. It's the same story as this one, but Ace gets given a data drive that gets plugged into the Colour Matrix and gives him data worlds, or in literal terms, video game worlds to explore. There are more stories of the Colour Matrix on Tiger Tail's Game Over, so make sure you go check it out.
This podcast is a production of the Three Ranger Bros Studios, in association with Zio to Hero, the podcast.
And there we have it, guys. Thank you very much for listening to this story. If you've enjoyed this story, then you might want to check out all of my Tiger Tales channels. I'm going to give you a quick rundown. There's Tiger Tales, the first and the original. This is a place where you'll find stories and fanfictions diving into all sorts of fandoms, including Power Rangers, Pokemon, The Walking Dead, Marvel, DC, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and so much more. Tiger Tales The Lost Stories follows the same suit, but all the stories on that channel are in the first person perspective. Then there's Tiger Tales Game Over, a channel where all of the storylines are related to video games in some way or another. Then we have Tiger Tales X, where I write official crossovers that aren't needed but are very wanted, and crossovers I thought might work. Then, of course, we have Tiger Tales Mysterious Origins. This is the YouTube channel dedicated to my own original stories. All the stories on this channel are original and my own, and it also answers questions on certain characters throughout my stories like William Cranston, Mr. Pocket, and Ace from the Colour Matrix. If you've enjoyed these storylines, then please make sure you check out the following podcasts. Storytime with Cosplay Dude 637, Power Rangers Universe 19, Sailor Moon E, and The Order. And make sure you check out 2 YouTube channels, Nostalgia Time and the One Piece audio drama. They are all written and read to you and edited by Cosplay Dude 637, my paramatai and best friend. Then make sure you check out the podcast Nerds Through Comics, which is directed by Mark, the Red Corner Ranger. This is where he adapts comic books into audio dramas and also uploads his own original Power Ranger storylines. We are the Three Ranger Bros Studios, a collaborative project, and we are all voice actors and helpers of each other's stuff, so make sure you go check us out. We're in association with the Zio to Hero podcast, so a huge shout out to Billy and Jim, the co-hosts, and of course the podcast and the community that they lead. If we're shouting out podcasts, I have to shout out Jared, the host of If You Give a Damn podcast. Make sure you check it out because he interviews some fantastic guests, from wrestlers to voice actors and the such. And of course, if we're talking podcasts, I have to mention my own, the Tiger Nexus podcast, where I interview content creators and geeks alike. A huge shout out to all my supporters and followers, my voice actors, the people who co-write my chapters, and the sorts. So huge thank you, and of course, a big shout out to A-Crown. Specifically him, because he helps me a lot with some of my stories, specifically the Colour Matrix and the chapters that go on Tiger Tales Game Over. Thank you very much guys for listening. Now don't forget to subscribe to the channels, like the videos, and let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. With that being said, I shall see you guys in the next one.
That before we can...
Don't touch my Pringles.